I'd like to welcome Professor, if we could say a few words.
So good morning, and I'm happy to open this conference. And I was, trying to think what might be a good way to begin this day. And then I looked at the title of your conference, and it's to do with 2020. So then I thought to myself, well, one way to look at 2020 is that I think you'll agree that 2020 will be at least as different from today as 2006 was from today. At least that much. It's the same 7 years. So to get a clue about 2020, we could think about 2006. So if you think about 2006, okay, let me ask a question here. Can all those people who don't have a mobile phone raise their hand? All right. I think the answer to that question in 2006 would have been a little bit different. Another question, can all those people who are capable of connecting to the internet sitting in this conference hall raise their hands? Okay. Now that is the really big change. In 2006, you would have had only 1 or 2 hands going up. Because of what reason? Because the device wasn't there. See, strange as it might sound, the tablet was not there. It didn't exist in 2006. So we had little phones, those flip-up clamshell kind of phones. And in principle, you could connect to the internet, but nobody did really. Or people did only to download a song or something like that. But the idea that you can do a search while I'm talking just didn't exist then. So if that was the change between 2006 and 2013, this change of access, then can we jump forward to 2020 and say that the change should be at least that much? So in 2006, internet access was equal to going to a computer somewhere or a notebook. Wireless was not particularly prevalent, but yes, maybe a wireless notebook, but that's about it. Today, it's almost entirely wireless, and the device size and cost is down to about this, the size is a couple of inches diagonal. So now I want you to make a jump to say that if that is the trend, then by 2020, the diagonal size has to go to 0. What does that mean? The device disappears. So if the device disappears, it means I think I can safely predict that in 2020, if we meet here again, all of us will be continuously connected to the internet by some means that we cannot imagine right now. There are some hints at what that means might be. I'll give you one piece that I heard quite recently in a lab in Houston, Texas. And that change is coming, surprisingly, not from information technology. It's coming from neuroscience. So there is a doctor who, about a few years ago, discovered that if you take a blind person and take a video camera output and try to feed it into his optic nerve, he can't see anything. And the reason was that we don't know the nature of the signal that goes through the optic nerve. So it has to match with the video signal, otherwise the brain can't figure out. So we were all stuck until this man discovered that there's a very simple way. You take the camera output, not once, but hundreds of times. So 100 wires come out, and drop it into the brain. And the blind person, after a while, begins to see shadowy shapes. So the brain actually figures out the camera signal by itself. It creates a new organ, the video camera, and integrates it. The work is, of course, in its infancy right now. But what he's trying, what one of his research students is trying, is a strange experiment. He's going to take a Twitter feed, break it into 1,000 wires, and drop it into a brain. Which means that you would be Twitter. Okay? So, in terms of school education, I just want to leave this as a thought at the beginning of the conference. Imagine the student of 2020 being continuously and invisibly connected to the internet. What will that do to the examination system? See, right now you can say, put away your tablet phones. And maybe next year you'll start making them go through metal detectors to see if they're hiding the tablet phone somewhere. A couple of years later, when the tablet phone disappears, and he's connected using some peculiar neurobiological method, then what will you do? You can't put him through an MRI scanner before coming into the examination hall. So you will have to let the internet into the examination hall. When you do that, what happens to the examination? If you are the question paper setter, what kind of question will you set? Asking a factual question doesn't make any sense anymore because, you can search for it and give it to you in a second. So your entire questioning style will change. If you are a teacher, your entire teaching style has to change because you know now that the student has access to facts all the time. And if you are a curriculum maker, then your entire approach to curriculum has to change. One change can change the entire schooling system if you allow the internet into the examination hall. And what I'm proposing is that we don't have to go to the government to say, will you allow this? It will happen anyway, and it will happen by 2020. So your conference is open. Thank you very much.